Top news tonight, the critical debate begins. What does President Bush's nominee for the Supreme Court really think about key issues like abortion rights? Democrats promise John Roberts will not get a free pass. The blistering heat wave in so many states, 45 people dead. Electricity use at record highs, millions in search of relief. Scores of young Muslims in Britain who say they're angry at America and empowered by radicalism. A closer look at why people become suicide bombers. And produce goes Big Brother. Do you get annoyed by those little stickers on fruits and vegetables? Sure you do. Well, make way for tattooed fruit.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Will the president's nominee for the Supreme Court be confirmed? It's early yet, but a day after John Roberts was picked by the president, the consensus in Washington is yes. But will he get a thorough going over by the Senate? Absolutely. Trying to seize early advantage, Judge Roberts was on Capitol Hill today pressing the flesh, and ABC's Linda Douglas is there.
Judge John Roberts was swept from one heady event to the other. First coffee with the president, who assured him publicly that he will lean on the Senate to confirm him quickly.
In my conversations with senators last night, we discussed how important it is that Judge Roberts get a fair hearing, a timely hearing, and a hearing that will bring great credit to our nation and to the United States Senate.
Then his chaperone, former senator, now TV actor Fred Thompson, brought Roberts to the Senate, where the majority leader was waiting to escort him.
All right, sir. The first official. Thank you, sir.
Inside, Republicans greeted him like a conquering hero.
He is the best of the best legal mind in America.
We intend to have a respectful process here.
And I'm very grateful to the senators for accommodating me and having me over here today.
As formalities unfolded in the Capitol, well-financed interest groups clamored to be heard outside. Conservatives unveiled a pro-Roberts TV ad that will run nationwide.
Colleagues call him brilliant and praise his integrity and fair-mindedness.
Liberal groups protested Roberts' nomination, insisting he will undermine abortion rights. Those and other groups are pressuring Democratic senators to oppose Roberts, but they are treading carefully. They acknowledge he is widely respected and considered brilliant. Some senators are questioning his qualifications, but very gently.
We need to know whether a nominee such as Judge Roberts really is in the mainstream of American values.
No one is entitled to a free pass to a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court.
After that comment, Roberts paid a visit to Senator Leahy, a charm offensive on both sides. He greeted the Democrats' leader with deference.
Appreciate you meeting with me today.
It's my pleasure. I look forward to having some lawyer-to-lawyer talk in the other room.
The Democratic leader praised Roberts' skills and said he's about to argue the most important case of his career here in the Senate. But, Charlie, it appears tonight that the prospects of a Democratic filibuster against Roberts are fading.
Linda Douglas on Capitol Hill. The critical question, of course, do senators know exactly where Roberts stands on crucial issues like abortion, civil rights, states' rights? He is generally seen as quite conservative, but even some conservatives today were cautious in their praise. He's relatively new to the federal bench, but he has an extensive legal background. ABC's Kate Snow reports there are a number of important issues which he has ruled on and argued for.
Those trying to define Roberts' views on abortion rights are zeroing in on two pieces of his record. In a legal brief Roberts approved when he worked as a government lawyer under the first President Bush, he argued Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided and should be overruled. But in confirmation hearings in 2003, Judge Roberts was asked to clarify. Roe v. Wade, he replied, is the settled law of the land. There's nothing in my personal views that would prevent me from fully and faithfully applying that precedent.
In 1991, John Roberts was working in the Solicitor General's office advocating a position on behalf of the president he worked for. In 2003, he was a Court of Appeals nominee, expressing the caution you'd expect of somebody in that role.
Bottom line, it's hard to know where he'll come down on abortion cases as a justice, though he is a practicing Catholic. Other fragments from Judge Roberts' record: for more than a decade, Roberts was the go-to lawyer for corporations arguing before the Supreme Court. From mining companies to Fox Television, Chrysler, and Toyota, pro-business conservatives like that past. Conservatives also support rulings he's made as a federal judge involving the war on terror, states' rights and the environment, and search and seizure laws. Publicly, conservatives were praising Roberts today, but privately, some social conservatives worry.
He's someone who is not going to be revolutionary on the Supreme Court, and that's probably something social conservatives might not like. They might want someone who would overturn Roe versus Wade. I don't think Judge Roberts is going to be overturning any great precedents.
Judge Souter will bring to the court a
The unstated fear, what many call the Souter factor. Conservatives were stung when they supported the president's father's choice of David Souter, who later voted to support abortion rights and now regularly sides with the court's most liberal members. Kate Snow, ABC News, Washington.
Washington interest groups today were burning up the internet with their opinions, pro and con, on Roberts. Heat in Washington, the reaction in the rest of the country, far cooler, far calmer, it seems. ABC's Aaron Hayes has been sampling the national reaction.
By this morning, folks around the country had had plenty of time to digest the news, and for many, it seemed to satisfy.
From everything I hear, this man seems highly qualified, highly intelligent.
In this Atlanta cafe, some were relieved.
I think it's a great nomination.
Others resigned.
I'm afraid we probably move toward a more conservative court. So we maybe just need to buckle in or fasten our seatbelts and get ready for the ride.
In cities coast to coast.
What do you think of Judge Roberts?
And in little towns in between, Judge Roberts was the topic of some thoughtful conversation.
I'm very worried about environmental protection. I'm very worried about women's right to choose.
I am a conservative. I think, he'll be in there a long time. Probably exhibits the same values that I have, that my community has, and I feel real good about it.
A lot of talk, but not much heat. For many Americans, it seems, the political firestorm long predicted over Supreme Court nominees lost a lot of its steam with the choice of Judge Roberts. Many say they will watch Judge Roberts' confirmation hearings, but add they have little patience for a drawn-out battle over it.
The people throwing rocks at one another back and forth, it's getting old. I mean, we're grown-ups here. We're acting like a bunch of kids.
The last thing many Americans want is another political firefight on Capitol Hill. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Atlanta.
One final note on the nomination. Sandra Day O'Connor, who was at a judicial conference in Washington State today, was asked about the nomination, and readily she said she's disappointed that President Bush didn't choose a woman, but then quickly added that Judge Roberts is a first-rate choice for the job. In Iraq, this was supposed to be a different kind of day, a day to pause and remember the dead. However, the violence did not stop. 9 days after a bomber blew himself up outside an Iraqi army recruiting center, there was another suicide attack at the same location. 25 people died in the previous attack, 10 died today. ABC's Mike Von Frem takes a look at a day in Baghdad.
This war-torn country tried to take 3 minutes of silence today. They stopped to pray for the children killed while receiving candy from U.S. soldiers. The worshippers slaughtered when a fuel truck exploded near a mosque, and the Sunnis killed on their way to draft a new constitution. But this is Baghdad, and the moment of silence was shattered when an Iraqi army recruiting station was once again the target of a suicide bomber. The committee writing a new constitution prayed for the 2 delegates who were assassinated yesterday and buried this afternoon. The remaining Sunnis on the committee say they cannot help write the constitution until security improves. 2 critical oil pipelines were attacked today. They feed power plants that provide electricity for more than 6 million people. As temperatures soared to near 120 degrees, officials announced that they're going to be cutting back on electricity to Baghdad. Instead of planned blackouts lasting for 4 hours, they will now last for 10. They had their 3 minutes of silence today, but they had so much more. Mike Von Frem, ABC News, Baghdad.
Also overseas, in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia today, police have captured the man suspected of throwing the grenade that landed within 100 feet of the president back in May. The suspect seen here the day of the incident was arrested after a gunfight that left 1 officer in Georgia dead. The grenade was thrown when Mr. Bush gave a speech in Georgia's capital, and the malfunction prevented it from going off. When we return, the road to terror. the forces that transformed 4 young men in Britain into suicide bombers. We'll take a closer look. Feeling the heat, dangerously high temperatures causing so much misery. And big news in the produce section, the end for those annoying little stickers.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Florida Orange Juice.
We are going to take a closer look this evening at the forces that transformed 4 seemingly average young men into the suicide bombers who killed 56 people in London. In Britain today, Prime Minister Tony Blair proposed a global conference to attack the root causes of Islamic extremism. Mr. Blair singled out the extremist teachings in some Muslim religious schools. ABC's David Wright traveled to Leeds, England, where the London bombers lived, to take a closer look.
There is no set career path, but there is a slippery slope. Alienation. Reprogramming. Followed, in some cases, by terrorism. ABC News spoke with more than 100 young men in Leeds, where Hussein lived. Nearly all said they would never go to the extremes the bombers did, but say they understood what might have motivated them.
It doesn't help when these Americans and these English are going into our Muslim countries and killing our brothers and sisters.
This is what they don't like.
It's not nice.
There's a lot of anger over civilian deaths in Iraq and Afghanistan, but many will not speak candidly to outsiders, especially in front of a camera. ABC's Zunaira Zaki conducted her interviews in private in Urdu. Many spoke of jihad, or holy war.
I heard one person say that the jihad is essentially already started. Basically, all of these people were ripe for recruitment. You just needed to get them started.
Many returned to Pakistan, where some Quranic schools or madrasas instill a radical view of Islam.
Some of these madrasas encourage their students to go and fight with the Taliban during the summer holiday.
Others are recruited closer to home.
These people will handpick a few who they think are good enough for the job, and then they'll brainwash these people slowly but surely.
The younger generation.
The topic today, inshallah, is knowledge.
For years, Britain all but allowed extremists to recruit openly. Groups like Al-Muhajirun, banned in every Muslim country, were free to meet publicly in Britain until late last year. At a recent meeting, one speaker mocked President Bush.
What did he say? He said, you're either with us or you're either with the terrorists. And what did we Muslims say? We said, we're not with you, we're with the terrorists. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
The challenge Britain faces now is how to crack down on terror suspects without further alienating the Muslim community. One of the hardest things for police here, how to know who's just angry and who may be ready to explode. David Wright, ABC News, Leeds.
And tomorrow on this broadcast, an interview with the president of Pakistan about what he's trying to do to counteract terrorism. When we come back, the heat wave, very uncomfortable across much of the country and very dangerous, even deadly, in places from coast to coast. Hurricane Emily slammed into northeastern Mexico with 125-mile-an-hour winds this morning. It caused some damage and forced thousands to seek higher ground. In Texas, high winds from Emily's outer bands knocked out power to 13,000 customers and also kicked up waves that thrilled surfers along the Gulf Coast. In so many parts of the country today, people were under a special kind of strain, a kind of strain that only a record heat wave can provide. It was another miserably hot day. 104 in Denver, the highest reading ever for that city in July. And in California, they're still talking about yesterday's high of 129 in Death Valley. And it is true that heat kills. Here's ABC's Miguel Marquez.
Searing temperatures across the nation, a heat wave taking lives and raising concern.
It's unbelievable. Right now I'm so hot I think I'm going to pass out.
In Philadelphia, 8 related heat deaths reported this year. In the West, reports of 15 heat-related deaths. And the Border Patrol says another 22 immigrants have died trying to make the illegal crossing into Arizona. Authorities handing out water, delivering food, and trying to keep those at greatest risk cool. Dr. Dale Carrison sees lots of heat-related emergencies.
Every system in your body, your kidneys, your heart, everything starts to just shut down slowly.
blame for the heat out west a massive high-pressure system, keeping cooler ocean winds away. That combined with the jet stream far to the north, keeping airflow across the continent stagnant.
As long as that jet stream stays north, the west will continue to be a furnace.
For 10 days now, Las Vegas has hit temperatures over 105 degrees.
With temperatures up over 110 in Las Vegas, officials here at the airport say some airlines have had to take passengers off flights. It's just been too hot to fly fully loaded planes.
In the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states, power usage is at record numbers as air conditioners up and down the coast are dialed too high.
It's kind of like a blow dryer in your face, you know, when you walk outside.
And just when will the heat wave end? Possibly when moisture from Hurricane Emily moves north later this week. For now, only the setting sun brings relief. Miguel Marquez, ABC News, Las Vegas.
The industry group that rates video games has said today that the hugely popular game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas will be given an adults-only rating. The decision was made after revelations that explicit sexual content is encoded in the game and can be unlocked by downloading a piece of software from the internet. The game's maker says it's working on a new version of the game to eliminate the pornographic content. The actor, James Doohan, has died. He will be remembered by millions of people for the phrase, "Beam me up, Scotty." Mr. Doohan played Scotty, the chief engineer on the Star Trek series.
8 minutes left.
Scotty, I can't change the laws of physics. I've got to have 30 minutes.
James Doohan was Canadian. He said he learned the accent from a fellow soldier, a Scotsman, while serving in World War II. Mr. Doohan was 85 years old. His family plans to send his ashes into space. When we return, the little stickers that can be so hard to remove from fruit. Would you prefer a laser tattoo?
Tomorrow, on ABC News exclusive, Pakistan's President Musharraf speaks out on who's to blame for the London bombings. Plus, shocking news for parents. Pornography embedded in a popular video game. What your child may be exposed to on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Finally tonight, an end to one of life's little annoyances. Those little labels on fruit that look like they'll come off so easily, but don't, and leave you with apple skin under your fingernail. Annoying indeed. But coming to the fruits and vegetables supermarket section near you is a new method for telling the grocery cashier just what kind of fruit you're buying. ABC's Robert Krulowich tonight with the big news in produce.
We all know this problem. These little labels are hard to remove without
A little skin.
Yeah. You have this problem a lot?
I usually eat the label. Everything goes.
Well, that's one solution. Here's another. Instead of pasting a label onto the fruit, the food industry, with government approval, is starting to use lasers to tattoo fruit instead. So look at this. Here's a tomato. I'm going to slow it down, and there's the label. So here's what you get. Here is a lime, a very little cherry, a tomato, and these perforations are so tiny. How deep do they go?
Oh boy, that's 18 millionths of an inch. That's
not very deep.
No, it's not deep at all.
And does it ever break the skin so germs can get in?
Absolutely not.
But even if it's safe, some say it has a quality.
That's very alien. That's Big Brother.
And yet, says the industry, there are advantages. These days, if you buy a pear at a grocery, there's so many pears at so many prices, the clerk has to know, is this a Bartlett, a d'Anjou, a Red, a Seckel? And clerks can't say stop every time and ask. But with the number code, the cash register automatically identifies and prices each pear. And with this technology, says Greg Joulard, it should be possible to know where any piece of fruit comes from. And for security reasons, one day you could track every place it's been.
Absolutely. You can do that.
Is this a good thing? Well, some say yes.
I like that.
I like the idea. Yeah. And some...
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, I'd prefer the paper. It's more natural.
What's more natural?
Just the label. Paper. Biodegradable.
In your tummy?
Indeed.
Robert Krulowich, ABC News, New York.
Building a better tomorrow? I don't know. That is World News Tonight for this Wednesday. I'm Charles Gibson. For Peter Jennings and for all of us at ABC News, good night.